Welcome back to Correctional Junkie, the podcast where we talk about what really goes on behind the walls. The truth, the struggles, and the voices that don't always get heard. I'm your host, Nurse B, and today, on episode 26, we're diving into 4 major crises hitting corrections right now. We're going to talk about the unbearable heat inside prisons, the fight for mental health and out of cell time, the staffing crisis that's pushing officers to strike, and the controversial decisions to house immigration detainees inside Angola prison. This episode is about pressure on inmates, pressure on staff, and pressure on a system that's already stretched thin. By the end, I want you to ask yourself, are we correcting or just containing? All right, extreme heat in prisons. Now, imagine being locked in a cell where the temperature outside is 105 degrees, and inside it feels even worse. No air conditioning, no fans that actually work, just concrete, metal, and sweat. That's reality for thousands of inmates and the staff guarding them across some 44 states that have no AC. Okay? Did y'all hear me? At least 44 states lack universal air conditioning within the prison facilities, even in regions known for sweltering summer temperatures. You got lawsuits piling up, claiming extreme heat is cruel and unusual punishment. Heat not just uncomfortable, it's deadly. Heart problems, dehydration, even heat stroke, right? Staff suffer too. Let's not forget about our correctional officers. They're out on these units, right? They're fainting. They're calling out sick. They're burned out. I mean, let's think about that, This is ongoing every summer, right? From June to, I would say, the end of September, depending on where you're at, what state you're in. Now, there are states that are doing different things to accommodate the situation. For instance, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, as of August 1st, they're building a 12,827 prison cells in air conditioning units where they're going to have, that many beds, of course, and is in the process of procuring an additional 7,162 more beds. Okay? So that's their way of, saying, hey, let's, help prevent these deaths, summer deaths, because there are a lot of deaths that, that do take place, Average like 14 deaths per year, I believe, in the Texas prisons are associated with the heat from a study that was done back in 2022. So, I mean, it's not anything that anyone wants to happen, right? But it is something that's going on. In North Carolina, the correctional officers are working towards their goal of installing air conditionings in all 54 state prisons by 2026. Okay? To date, they have 33 facilities so far are fully air conditioned, and they have 17 that are partial, and 4 that have no AC at all. Okay? And then in California, the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, they have 31 adult prisons, and which has spent $246 million in the past 5 years on cooling improvements at 5 prisons. Okay, So you have, different states that are taking actions to help with, to accommodate the inmates to be able to do their time throughout the entire course of the year, right? Because, we got some states have 4 seasons, some don't. I would say that. Um, so, Virginia, they're doing the same, um, requiring to, install heat and AC in its prisons to ensure the cell temperatures don't exceed 80 degrees, okay? Delaware, they're working on it as well. They're working on something for their prison system. So, but in other states, such efforts have stalled or have failed, They may lead to more lawsuits in the future, or or even the judges may raise the bar for such cases, right? So, I mean, uncomfortable weather creates a problem for everybody, not just the inmates, but staffing all around, the correctional officers, nursing staff, right? Because we're running out here on all these emergencies that are happening, these colds, you know, finding people, passed out, having heat strokes, and then you have your officers that are passing out as well on the jobs because of the heat as well. So it's not, beneficial to any of us, you know. So it's definitely something that we definitely want to work on to make better because, as you know, with high temperatures, it can heighten your irritability and aggression, and it can fuel more conflicts between incarcerated people or with staff. Because what happens when people are hot and bothered, right? They easily are agitated, easily ready to fight and pop off, right? I mean, and think about it in just our own life, when we hot. You hot, you don't want nobody all in your face, all up on you. Give me some space. I'm hot, I'm just hot. So it makes you miserable. So imagine with them, it makes them more miserable. And then at some point, some of them even think about suicide. So that's a lot probably going on too with the summertime. That's why suicides go up because of the heat, right? Think about the heat medications, right? There are certain mental health medications that these inmates take, and it can't be in high temperatures due to that medication. So we always have to take that into perspective as well, too, because we need them to take their medication, and we do not need them to have any problems with their mental health, aspirating it, making it worse than what it is. Then you have to also think on the medical side of it for as far as chronic illnesses. If you're not drinking water like you should be, keeping your body cool, right, it's going to create other problems, right? You can end up having bladder conditions, because you're not drinking enough, you're not peeing out anything, you're not sweating like you're supposed to, or you're sweating too much. Just a lot going on with the body during that time. So it's really important that the prison system does whatever they need to do to accommodate all of us during the summertime and install air conditioning year-round for the inmates, for the officers that need to walk up and down these tiers, because some of these tiers are 2 levels, some could possibly be 3 levels, okay, depending on what state you're in, what institutions you work, and trust me, I'm telling you, I have worked in prisons where the sweat is on the rails, the floor is sweating, the stairs is sweating, and you got to go make rounds with the officer, and the only thing you thinking to yourself is, oh my God, I do not want to fall. You know what I mean? Because you think about all these germs on this floor, germs we already can't see as it is, but then you got sweat. oh, it just makes it even quicker to get to you, right? So if you hit that floor, oh my goodness, not a pretty sight. So trust me, we don't want to work in those conditions as staff when we got to go out here and attend to these emergencies and the floor is all wet and slippery because from all the heat itself, you know. Well, we need it to be dry and cool too. We need to come to work and stay dry and cool so we can stay smelling fresh and clean, and not like, we've been out here running in the wild before we got to work, right? So, I mean, all these things come into perspective, you know. So it's really important that they handle that, because here's my question on that. If we say incarceration is the punishment, why are we letting extreme heat become the executioner? Should basic temperature safety be a constitutional right? That's just my question out there to y'all. Okay? Now, on my next one that I want to talk about is mental health and out of cell time. So just this month, a New York judge ruled that mentally ill inmates at a certain institution must be given more out-of-cell time and better therapeutic treatment. Think about that. It took a court order just to get inmates out of their cells a little longer. Let that sit in for one moment, okay? And this is in New York now. Solitary confinement worsens mental illness. Out-of-cell time reduces violence, suicide, and tension. Understaffing often means programs get cut, therapy groups canceled, and recreation skipped, right? So mental illness in corrections is an epidemic, but treatment is minimum. Now, I do agree that solitary confinement does worsen the mental illness because if you're someone that's actively hearing voices, right, in your head, and you're not on your medication, those voices can really take you down a dark, dark path, and have you do some horrible things to yourself, right? So you might not need to be by yourself, all the time. Not like that, not where you're isolated, Out of time cell does I feel it reduces violence, suicide, tension. To me, I just feel like they need structure. A lot of people don't get structure growing up as kids. But having structure in place, it keeps people focused, right? It gives you something to do. You don't find yourself out of time, double time, So they do need out of cell time. They really need it. Understaffing is a huge problem. It's not a small problem. It's huge because when we don't have enough staff, everything can't run like it's supposed to run. Because part of their treatment in the prison is therapy, right? They gotta do their groups. Because if they don't do the groups, then they're not getting the treatment that they need. And how can we send them back out here in the world and be like, okay, you ought to be good, when they haven't been getting anything from us? No treatment at all. They don't know how to cope with anything. They came in here acting one way and they went out being worse. So, we have to give them their treatments, their therapy group. They need the coping skills. Everybody have a different type of coping skill that works for them, right? So they need that. But we have to address the understaffing and how it really, 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 really hurts us. Really hurts us. Okay? Because, like I said, mental illness in corrections is an epidemic. Let's go back to, this is for my nurses. Nurses, when we all went to nursing school, the one thing you learned was that you are dealing with the whole person, right? You can't pick out what part of them you want to deal with. Well, guess what? Mental health is a part of that package. So until we are addressing that mental health with them, I mean, what are we doing? We just sending them back out here. Oh, you know what? Put a band-aid on it. No, because it's creating more and more problems. You know, we can't just put a band-aid on it and, hope for the best. Maybe the person will be better in time, Maybe they'll understand later down the road as they get older. No, no. We have to address the whole person. And a part of the whole person is your mental health. And in your mental health, if you have a mental illness, we need to address it in prison. Now, I don't know if every state has mental health state prisons, but that they need them. You need to separate the prisons, because a mental health state prison needs its own prison by itself from the ones that are general pop people. You know, they just need their own prison. That this is a mental health, and that's what they say on the door. Hey, this is mental health state prison right here. It's where everybody that's in crisis, everybody this what they do, cut all the time, hang themselves, they swallowing and overdosing, they talking and doing things. This where they all come here. And you probably gonna need about 2 or 3 of these huge facilities, right? But you have to create them so that people can focus on their mental health. Prioritize it as the main thing for them. Whereas somewhere else, chronic care needs to be chronic care. But if this person whole issue is all mental health, then they need to be over here in this mental health institution so that they can be getting everything that they need. And you know how, like in public school, you have classrooms that are just full of everybody, right? It's like too many students in a classroom, so we have so many students in the classroom. Only a few students pass with great grades. Other students struggle, right? But why is that? Sometimes the environment in that classroom, it's too many people in there, and everybody in there don't have the same attitude and same intentions for being there, right? So some people don't care about their education. They ain't trying to get to the next level because they good where they at. Where other people are trying to get to the next level. So, and the ones that are stuck in the middle are the ones that are struggling. So our mental health is like the ones stuck in the middle. Those are the ones that are struggling because it's a cry for help, but it's being combined with everything else. But it needs to be a separation for that and pushed over here so that it can get what it needs. And we can be able to give this person the full attention that is needed, And that way, if you have to hire more psychologists and psychiatrists and mental health social workers and counselors, all these different people, you just have to do what you have to do to make our world safer for all of us by being able to take care of them. So for me, here's the reality. You can't reform prisons without reforming mental health. Okay? If we can't meet basic mental health needs, are we setting people up for success when they re-enter society? Or are we just warehousing suffering? That's my question to y'all. That's my question to y'all. I'm putting it out there to y'all. This is on y'all at this point to think about that. Think about that. If we can't meet basic mental health needs? Are we setting people up for success when they re-enter society? Because this is the same society, guess what, you live in too. Your children live in, your mama, your daddy, your sister, brothers, aunts, cousins, your best friends. You hear what I'm saying? All these people live in this same society. You're not ostracizing them to another one. No, 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 no. They coming out the same way you come into the prison. They're going out that same way to leave, to exit back into society. So we have to really think about that. What are we doing? What are we doing? How are we doing this? How can we do what we need to do to help people with mental health? Because this mental health illness is real. It's unfolding all around us on a day-to-day basis, right? On a day-to-day. And I'm not saying that any of us are better than any of us, because we're all not. But what I am saying is that some of us, we need more than others, okay? Some of us do. Someone can say, hey, all I need is God in my life. I pray, I'm good. But somebody else, they might need some injections, right? Come on. Some pills to swallow, right? The dissolvable ones under their tongue. Let's think about that, okay? They might need to be monitored, right? To even make sure they're taking it, right? I mean, because it's real. It's not made up stuff. Mental illness is real. It shows its face very differently. And I do mean very differently. You don't always see it right away. But when given enough time, you will see it. It will show its face. And you will see it in full bloom. You just have to wait and pay attention. That's all you have to do. Wait and pay attention. So once again, my question to you, or are we just warehousing suffering? Because why do you want to warehouse it? So you can run back out here on the streets and be worse? Oh, Lord. Okay, because that's what we're seeing. So come on, people. Come on. All right, so my next one is staffing crisis and strikes. Now, once again, New York. So meanwhile in New York, the correctional officers recently had a stage a strike. I don't know if any of y'all knew about that. And their message, enough is enough. Pay is too low. Overtime is crushing. And facilities are unsafe. Not just for staff, but for everyone. Y'all heard that, right? Forced overtime burnout staff. Staff shortages. Once again, there's that word again. Staff shortages. There it is again. Fewer eyes, more blind spots, more violence. Officers walking off the job. A system that's at the breaking point. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that I love my officers, my COs, my officers out here in the real world, policing. Okay, hey, blue love all day for y'all, all day. But y'all should get paid the highest. Okay. Now I complain. People that know Nurse B, let me tell you something. They'll tell you I'm a big complainer when it comes to nursing not getting paid. Okay, and we do all the caring, right? We do. I mean, because taking care of people it's the hardest job in America. Okay, because once again, nurses. Why? Because we have to deal with the whole person. We can't pick what part of the person we're dealing with, right? I can't say, hey, I ain't dealing with that today. I'm only dealing with this part of you today, right? We just can't. So I always say, we're not getting paid. Healthcare suffers in pay, and we break our backs. We're working overtime. We're just doing all this. And we're not getting paid like we should. Well, guess what? My officers, y'all are not either. Why? Because y'all risk y'all lives every day. I mean, every day. Because you know what? An inmate, and you know, and I've done this episode on manipulation, but y'all know it. These inmates are so manipulative, right? They will, they will have their officer think that, you know, hey, yeah, I'm good, officer, I'm good, you know, yeah, I just wanna go make my phone call, yeah, I just wanna call my family, you know, and then also, you know, he being what he's supposed to do, right? We picked a field to serve people, okay? We picked it in an area where people feel that they don't deserve to be taken care of, right? But we're like, you know what? Regardless of what y'all think, they're people. They are humans. This is what we do, okay? So this officer is saying to this inmate, all right now, I'm gonna do what I got to do. I'm gonna let you come on out and make your phone call. We good? Yes, officer, we good. And soon as he do what he do and let him out. Now he may not act a fool then, but after the call he might act a fool, right? He might tear up where he at in the call booth or whatever, you know, coming back, try to escape running. All kind of things. These officers put themselves at risk. Why? Because this is what they chose as their career of choice, right? And yet, they have to fight for their pay. Why? Why? Now, I get it. Football, and that's where I come in at, where people say, okay, Nurse Bear, okay, I get you. I hear you. Football, I get it. Football, we all love football. Whatever. Okay, great. But y'all pay these guys millions of dollars. And you know what I'm talking about. No bashing. I'm bashing. But my point is, they get paid all this money, right? And this just to point out my point. And yet, they can lose the game, okay? Y'all heard me, right? They can lose the game. Who is going to deal with the repercussions when that game is over? And the inmates, because we don't tell them to gamble. Now, don't get me wrong. We do not do that. The officers don't sit there and say, yeah, who you betting on? No. No. These inmates do it because why? Because they want to, and they choose to. They get themselves caught up, okay? Listen to other inmates. Oh, that's what they do. They get caught up. So they betting on this particular team, right? Well, guess what? You betting on that team, and then that team lost. So now, people looking to get paid, other inmates, right? So let me tell y'all something. My officers, they take a big risk every day when they come to that gate. Every day. Y'all take a big risk every day. And you don't know that it's anything in play before you get to work. You don't have no idea. No idea. But let me tell you what be in place sometimes with some of these inmates. See, when an inmate run his mouth, talk big stuff, and say, yeah, and putting all his bets out, and then he can't come through with his pay up, right? Something finna go down. Now, if this inmate is not willing to risk with the go down, whatever that is, then guess what he's going to do? He is going to become suicidal, or he's going to put an officer's life at risk, because guess what he need to do? He need to get the hell out of that institution. You hear me? Do y'all hear me? Do y'all hear me? So when I tell you that, yeah, I have a big problem with NFLs and NBAers. Y'all get all the money, but y'all create all these problems for us as nurses and officers in the prisons and jail system. Because yes, people gonna be people. They gonna bet, they gonna bet. But let me tell you how many times we have to run out on these codes. How many times officers get attacked by these inmates because they done betted on something they can't pay. So now they need to get out that institution. So what's the best way for them to get out that institution? To do something to an officer. Well, they have to transfer them out. And they know that. They know it. So that's why we have to pay attention to everything. These staff shortages are real. But I tell you what, if you put more money out there for your officers, and I'm talking about more money, you know, I know that in other states, they probably don't get paid like New York and California, maybe Massachusetts or Maine or Delaware, some of these other states. But y'all need to come up. Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. You know who I'm talking about. Y'all need to come up and raise the pay for your officers because they risk their life every day that they come in there. Every day they got to open that cell door and let that inmate come out to take a shower, to go take a phone call, to go get meds, to go eat, to go out to get recess time, airtime, playtime. Okay? They take a risk every time. Every time. They stand out there watching them on the yard. They're taking that risk every time. And it's only fair that they get that pay. Give them that pay. They deserve that pay. Their check should be so fat every month. They don't mind coming to work. They don't mind making sure that their eyes is on everybody. Because let me tell you something. When you getting paid like you deserve to get paid, or you coming in there to do your job like you gonna do your job. You know why? Because ain't nobody finna take your money. You're not gonna let nobody take your money. You hear me? And I'm talking about, this is to all of my governors out there. I'm talking about before overtime. I ain't talking about after. They shouldn't have to work overtime to get their big check. They should get that big check, period. And their overtime check should be their gravy, okay? Just some gravy on top. Because these men and women have families too to look out for. And guess what? They family want to see them at the end of the night too. They want to see their mom and dad come home, husband and wife come home, the same way they left, okay? So just putting that out there. This will calm a lot of this down, this crisis in staffing, the burnout, officers working off the job. I mean, let's be honest. When staff morale tanks, accountability tanks with it. How can we expect officers to give their best when they're overlooked, underpaid, and unprotected? Are prisons dangerous today because we ignore staff needs for too long? That's a question to y'all. My answer? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I watch it all the time go down. And I just sit there and I'm like, now watch this mess. You have got to give these officers back their livelihood of why they came into corrections. To be that change. You got to give it to them. But you got to give them that money. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be able to just pay our bills and live a nice life. And when it's time to take vacation, I should be able to just actually take one, you know? And you ain't got to work a whole bunch of overtime to try to make up for something that you think you deserve to have or should make, when you should already be making it anyway. So y'all need to really work on that. I need my governors to work on that for us. Get that going. All the governors across the country, whoever's listening to this, listen. Y'all need to really put that out there to y'all governors. Look here. This is what we need. This is what we want. Because this is how you get us. This is how you keep us. This is how you get that morale built back up. This is it. But you got to be willing to do your part. You got to be willing to say, you know what? We got to do right by our people. We got to. We got to. We got to do right by our people. You know what I know is that if officers, even nursing, everybody getting paid good, who gonna be talked into doing some stupid stuff that's gonna lose their job over? Who? Because you have got to be on some other than it ain't about money. It's about something else bigger than that for you. Because it ain't going to be about your money. It's going to be about something else. And the chances are is that it's going to drop really low because you have covered everybody. So now my officer over here in Florida that might be only making $18 an hour as an officer, okay? Y'all can look it up. You're going to be like, wait a minute. Look it up. Yeah. How you getting paid 18 and you taking the same risk I'm taking with a level 4 inmate across all the other states? Yeah. Let's think about that. Governors, really look at that pay scale and say, is this fair? Is this fair? No, it ain't fair. No, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. It's wrong all day long, no matter what nobody think about or say. One of y'all apply to Florida and Texas and these other states. Louisiana, apply. I promise you, as soon as you see the pay, you will click off of it. Be like, oh, heck no. You want me to do what? You want me to risk my life for what? This could be the last job available. I would just die of broke and starvation. Bump that. You have no idea how you set people up. Don't do that to people. Pay people. Because they have the most dangerous job there is. Football players don't have no dangerous job. Running up and down a damn football field. Basketball, same thing. That's for y'all big people, big money people. Woo woo, right? But they put us, and I said us, yeah. Medical, the SEALs, at risk. Why? Because inmates like to bet, and we don't control it. You can't control it. They do it when you're not listening. They do it when you are listening. They talk in code, right? When y'all lose the game, win the game, something's going to happen to somebody, somewhere, in some institution. Not to mention Super Bowl, okay? You just want turn off the damn TVs and have a power outage that day. You hear me? Right before it starts, you just want a power outage. Oops, did the power go out? Dang, we in a power outage. Across the whole country, okay? Yeah, but only in the institutions, okay? Why? Because it's dangerous for everybody in those systems. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Now, my last one I want to talk about is ICE detainees in Angola prison. Now, y'all, this one is a shocker to me. Now, here's something that should make us all pause. Civil immigration detainees, people not convicted of crimes, are being housed in Angola, one of America's toughest, most infamous prisons, a place known for violence, lawsuits, and human rights concerns. Now let me give you a little background on Angola. Because I didn't even know this myself. I had to look it up, y'all. So Angola is the Louisiana State Penitentiary. Yeah, y'all heard it. Louisiana. It's known as Angola. And guess the nickname? You'll never guess this. Alcatraz of the South. No way. How could that be? Yeah. Okay. Alcatraz of the South, y'all. Or some of y'all might know it if you're from Louisiana. The Angola Plantation. Better known as the farm. Now, just so you know, this is the largest maximum security prison in the U.S. Did y'all hear that? This is the largest maximum security prison in the U.S. They house 6,300 inmates and 1,800 staff are including officers, janitors, maintenance workers, wardens, deputy wardens, and the warden himself. Okay? Did y'all hear that? 6,300 inmates. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, they're the largest. Okay? They are the largest. So, they're going to be the ones that are going to be receiving these immigrants, right? So you got civil detention versus criminal incarceration. Two very different purposes, okay? All right. Then, of course, you got Angola's history of brutality and lawsuits. You know, I mean, are detainees protected? What oversights do they have in place, y'all? The moral and the legal implications of treating civil detainees like maximum security prisoners, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It really, this one is one of those conversations. I won't even say, yeah, conversations. I don't know. So far they have, 51, they have placed 51 immigrants are currently incarcerated at Angola. But they have all of them in solitary confinement, right? Now, the solitary confinement, y'all, used to be called the dungeon. So you can imagine what that probably looks like or what that's like. Just by the name, okay? And that was one that they reopened because they closed that unit back in 2018, right? But due to, these conversations that probably have been going on in the back room, they had started, making repairs to reopen it as an ICE lockup, right? Yeah, exactly. So, so that's the thing that's where they're being taken to. Is to Louisiana, to the Angola, yeah. I guess they're there until whatever decisions are made, correct? That's the only thing I can come up with. So the cost of these 26, in the following courts, I guess they're looking into like their medical care for the inmates at Angola. Because Angola has a long history of brutal and inhumane and dangerous conditions, right? Where, they found that rather than receiving medical care, the inmates instead were subjected to cruel and unusual punishment by medical mistreatment, okay? So, some of the inmates apparently say they were forced to work in extreme heat with little, if any, access to clean or cold drinking water. If they were unable to work, they were placed in solitary confinement. Yeah. So, like I say, Angola prison is a notorious facility built on a former plantation. It was used to enslave people. It's steeped in a legacy of racism and brutal conditions, detaining people in places like Angola and Alligator Alcatraz. It's what they have chosen to do. But Angola is the latest one on that one. And I don't know. I mean, the bigger question, I guess, is what does this decision say about American priorities? Are we blurring the line between justice and politics? I don't know. I really don't know. I really, truly don't know what that answer is to that, because people do what people want to do, right? Is it right? Is it wrong? Always a great question, right? Always. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, today we talk about heat so dangerous it kills, mental health services locked behind bars, officers stretched to the breaking point, and immigration detainees housed in one of the harshest prisons in the country. Pressure is building in every corner of corrections, on inmates, on staff, on facilities, on budgets. The cracks are showing. And the truth is, these aren't side issues. They're the heart of whether corrections is sustainable at all. So I'll leave this with you. When we look at corrections, do we see human beings or just bodies to be contained? That is the question to you. And if it's the latter, how long before the system collapses under its own weight then? I mean, I don't know. These are all some really great topics to talk about. Like I said, I asked you questions at the end of each one. So, I mean, if you have a comment, leave a comment, and tell me what you think. Is it a conversation that's up for dialogue to continue, to explore? I mean, any of them are up for any conversation at all. Any of them are debatable. So it's just a matter of what's on your mind. What do you think when it comes to what is going on in corrections in these 4 areas that we're dealing with right now? Because like I said, when it comes to my officers, y'all should be at the top of the food chain when it comes to your money. Because, you are dealing with anybody from a small offense to serial killers and psychopaths, okay? To out of control people that you don't even see them coming because they be so humble, right? Behind the closed door, behind the gated door, until you open it, right? Y'all know what I mean. So you don't know who you're dealing with until that time comes. But because they have to deal with this on a constant basis, the least that they should have to worry about is their pay, being burned out, not having enough staff. I mean, just imagine in a world where correctional officers got paid top dollar across the board. Top dollar. And that was before the overtime hit, right? Before overtime hit. And then imagine if when it was time for overtime, nobody had a problem signing up for overtime, right? I mean, these prisons would run so much better. They would be so much safer for everybody because um, nobody would be easily talked into doing nothing. Because if you're already getting paid well, right? And then you come in because you know you're gonna get paid. This your gravy on top of your meal, right? I mean, there's just no time for the foolishness and the games that these inmates like to play. You just don't have the space and the room for it. You don't. You just want to come in here, do your time, serve the people, and go home. That's it. You want to be safe with everything you do. And you're going to pay attention. And your most important part, you're going to follow policy. Why? Because I can't lose my money. That's why. You're not going to be no fool. Okay? No, you're going to follow policy because why? You're not going to risk losing your check. You're just not going to do it. You know, your girlfriend gonna be happy, your wife gonna be happy, you know, your kids gonna be happy, your bank account smiling, right? You know? So you're just not gonna risk it. You're just not, you know. Life look good. Life feel good, right? You know, you don't have a problem going to work. Do what you got to do. Hey, I got to go to work. I got to go. We going down here and get my money. You know? You're going to do it with a smile. You're not going to come in there all pissed off because you had to work today. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But see, when you're getting paid well to do your job well, hey, we come here with a smile face every day. Hey, how you doing? Uh-huh. Now, you done had your shower today. You're not getting another one. Go on back to your cell. Thank you. You done had your phone call today. You're not getting another one. Go on back to your cell. Thank you. You know, real easy. Real easy instead of, you know what? If I give you this extra tray, you gonna do this? No, we ain't doing that. I ain't giving you nothing. You heard, did you get your dinner tray? You did? Okay, well good. There you go. There you go. Now, if you want anything else, I suggest you get you some canteen funds. And you can do like everybody else and buy yours from the canteen. Anything extra. Otherwise, I don't know what to tell you other than no. That's it. But everything will run so much smoother, right? So much smoother. And you wouldn't have officers, like I said, having a breaking point. No, you wouldn't. But that's in a perfect world where, you know, everyone is like, you know, this is just the right thing to do. Yeah. Once again, am I dreaming? Maybe I'm dreaming. But I just, you know, like I said, I love my officers, whether you're on the streets or in the institution. Y'all are our backbones. Y'all, you know, protect us when we are there in these institutions, taking care of these inmates, doing our medical treatments or whatever we're there to serve. Y'all are right there. You know, y'all are a right hand person to help us out, you know. And so, like I said, we need them, you know, to keep us safe, but we need them also to be safe too and to be kept safe. And, you know, they need more staff to help them with that because there's nothing that I as a nurse can do to help them. I just can't. Ain't nothing I can do but press my alarm, you know, holler for help, blow a whistle or something. You know what I mean? Scream, you know? So, come on. We gotta want more for our correctional staff across the board, every state. We gotta want more. They don't get paid enough. They don't. And if it's an NFL player or NBA player out there listening to this, yeah, take it to heart, please, because you need to look at it and be like, I never really knew that or thought about that. Well, yeah. I'm not pointing any fingers and saying that it's your fault because you don't have no control over it. All I'm saying is that, hey, we need some love too, okay? Y'all get all of it. We don't get any of it. And we're dealing with the repercussions of it every time y'all lose a game, okay? Every time we get it on this end. The officers was getting battered with it, and we the nurses that's cleaning it up. Okay? So, hey, that's all I'm saying. Help us to help each other to be better, to survive in this institution of corrections, so that we can bring more correctional criminal justice majors into their field. Because I know it's a whole lot of them out there with those degrees. They're just not coming into the field as of right now, but we really need them. Really need them. So they need them to come into the field so that they can help out. We need that hand. We need that hand. So to all those out there listening, if this episode made you think, share it with someone. Subscribe or follow. Join the conversation. You can listen to it on Spotify, YouTube, and I'm on iHeart. So, come on, people. Until next time, let's keep showing up. Let's keep staying strong and keep doing this work that matters.